What's up, everyone? This is the Interstellar Photoshop template tutorial. Excuse me. This comes with 12 files, including the trading card template, the front and back of that. This started off just as a custom template from this team called the Comet, so it was fitting. But I've had requests from several people from some type of like space themed type thing, so I didn't want to get too heavily sci-fi with it, so this is kind of what I stuck with. It actually ended up selling really well, these photos did. So anyway, I just decided to make this template available. But let me kind of walk through the layers here for you. You have your vignette layers here that really kind of help pop this thing off. Your bottom text layers, that's going to be the text itself, as well as this name bar and this little accent thing here if you want it. A little color grade on the subject is very subtle. You can crank it up or down. Excuse me, as you can see, the opacity is just 20%. Then just a little contrast boost if you want that. Obviously you can get in here and kind of play with it if you want. Then the actual subject folder, you just drop your subject in here, position them around. Then you have your top text. There is another row here, or sorry, layer, sorry, wrong one. You can turn on and then just kind of reposition everything so it fits better. And we'll walk through all that. Then obviously all your background layers. So you have just this frame that's around her. Sorry, that's a little starburst on it. Then the frame itself. And then this kind of reflective surface that looks like glass almost. And then just this background glow. Then you have the comments that you can turn on or off. Or you can get in here and kind of move each one around. Or duplicate them and add as many as you want or as little as you want. Then you have two layers of stars in the background. This stars 2 is kind of more color coded. Just has color to it. You know what I'm trying to say. Sorry. Hadn't had my coffee yet. And the stars 1 is just your plain, just kind of white stars. And then just obviously your actual background color. So let's get into it. I'm just going to swap this subject out with a volleyball player from a local high school. You know how I like to work. I grab my move tool and I make sure auto selects on. I'm going to click her, but you'll notice since the color grade layer's on, it'll go to that. But whatever, it gets you close enough. We're just going to come down here and click the actual subject. And I'm going to grab my folder here. Sorry, let me move this down. I'm just going to drag her over. Then obviously I'll just kind of position it where I want her. For tutorial purposes, we'll just kind of keep it quick and simple. Keep her about right there. All right, then I'm going to turn this other subject off. Cool. Now the first thing I like to do is after I do that is I'll go to the very top layer. I want to go back. Just for my colors, I like to just drag over their logo or something that has their colors, or if you have a color chart for that school, you can do that. I'm going to make it smaller. I'm not going to use this in the template. I'm just going to sample the color off of it. Now they're pretty simple. It's just blue and black. Sometimes they'll use some gray. So, but we're just going to kind of work with the blue really. But I'll show you as I go how you can do multiple colors. So I like to start from the bottom. I'm going to grab this blue. Actually, you know what? Let's just go completely black for the background color. Let's do that. But if you want, grab that blue. Obviously, darker works better. So I would just darken that as much as possible. So you have almost like a midnight blue back there. Actually, let's just stick with that mid. Let's make it a little bit even darker. Pretty much black. All right, then I'll open up the background layers. I'm going to keep that starburst there on that frame. I like to start with the stars here, the colored stars. So stars 2, I'll double click. I'll click the color overlay. And I'm probably going to just, here, let's just sample this color again. And then we're going to lighten it. So I want to come way up here and then just adds a little bit of that blue to the background. All right, stars 1, I'm just going to keep white. Let's see, make sure it is white. Yep. And that's it. And then with the comets, I'll turn them off for now. And listen, feel free in this comets layer or folder, grab pictures of the moon or planets or whatever you want. I mean, you can add whatever you want in here, just kind of give it more of the aesthetic that you want. All right, I'm going to keep that background glow on. I'm going to keep it white. I don't have a color change option on it, but if you want to, just double click, color overlay if you wanted. Obviously, you can come in here and do whatever. I just assumed you'd want to keep it white. Same with the glass effect. You can change the colors on it. I'm going to kind of keep it this just white and gray. It's very subtle. You can't tell, but it just gives it more of that kind of curvy, reflective surface vibe. But again, you can come in here, kind of change the grays to this red if you want, and you'll kind of see what I'm talking about. So feel free to go in there and change the colors. I would keep the whites white if I were you, but the grays I would change to colors if you want. Actually, you know what? Let's just try it with this blue. And again, maybe go lighter blue. There, I'm actually going to Command or Control C and copy that color. I want to paste it right here. And as you can tell, it's just very subtle in here. But it is kind of going from white to blue and just giving it just kind of a reflective surface there. Nice. All right, let's go back up to the actual layer effects on the frame here surrounding her. I'm going to keep everything as is. We have this inner shadow. You can turn on or off. It just gives it a little bit more dimension. And then this outer glow. So I want to grab that glow. I'm actually going to paste the color we just used, just that light blue. But obviously you can go in here, grab any color, and it just gives it this kind of glow. So I'm going to paste that back in there. Now let's go to the gradient overlay. This isn't going to change too awful much. All right, I want that lighter blue. I want to paste in here as well on the ends, here and here. Then this middle one, I'm just going to grab the color from that logo again, right there. Nice. Sometimes you can, sometimes it might work just to change the angle of that gradient. Let's go 110. There we go. And also, let's go back in there. Sometimes I like to, this last one is actually this top color. I'll lighten it just a little more. Whoops, sorry. Let's go back. I'll lighten it just a little more because kind of makes this little starburst make more sense. So something like that. Again, just giving it some depth and dimension there. All right, let's see. Actually, let's go back in here. Here's what I like to do. I will copy from this frame folder, I will copy layer styles. And down here on the bottom, I'll just click it because I have my auto select turned on. It's that name bar. I'll go up here to the main folder, double click it. Oops, sorry. I will right click and I will paste that layer style. And as you see, it kind of gives it the same effect this has up here. Now feel free to double click it. Go in here. I want to move that darker color around a little. Yeah, it's not really, oops, sorry. Not really doing too much. There it was the angle that was throwing me off some. I'm going to make the scale a little bigger. There we are. So feel free to, again, to play with the angle and then the scale on that bottom name layer. Or nameplate, name bar, whatever you want to call it. Cool. All right, let's move on. We're going to kind of do the same up here. I'm just going to click the text actually, let's change the text first. I'm going to turn that on. So this school is North Lincoln. And all I did was, with my move tool, I just clicked it and it auto selected it over here. Then I just double clicked it to highlight all the text, or you can just grab the text tool itself, click in there, Command or Control A to select all of it and change it there. So we'll do it that way here with the team name. Whoops. Command or Control A to select all, then type. I don't think I'm going to reposition that, but let's do volleyball. Now, I like that as is, but if you wanted to spread these letters out some more, let's click in there, Command or Control A, and then this little icon over here is the character icon. If you don't see it, it's in your Windows, and you can go up here to Character. And this little VA with the arrows going out, that will kind of change the spacing. So I'll just hold my up arrow and kind of play with that. There we go. Now what I'll do is grab this whole top text folder. Let's close it down. I'll grab that whole folder, Command or Control T, and I'm just going to move it down just a little and then slightly resize it. And there we have it. Let's move it down a little more. Sorry, grab my move. I'm just using my arrow keys. Cool, right there. All right, now let's go back in here and play with the colors. So the school org, I'm going to grab, or just click on first the outer glow. Well, I still have that color on my clipboard, so I'm just going to paste it in there. We'll say okay. Actually, let's go through all of these and do that real quick. Just outer glow. I have them all separated because there's slightly different bevel sizes and things like that, and inner shadow sizes. Color gradient. No, sorry. Color glow. Or outer glow, sorry. All right, cool. Now let's go back to the top one. I'm going to click it with my move tool, auto select. Double click in here. Now I'm just going to change the gradient. Let's see here. Let's grab this blue one more. Actually, let's paste what we had in there. Or no, we'll just click this blue. Now I'm just going to make it very, very subtle. Just almost white, just like a very powdered blue. Because I want the whole thing to kind of look white, but there's just a little color cast from the blue kind of hitting it is my thinking. I want to change this angle to 100. Okay, now I want to go back on this. Sorry, I want to click back in here. Click this blue again. And I'm going to copy it. So Command or Control C. That's just how I do it. You can just make each one different if you want. I want to go down to Team, double click it, click Gradient Overlay, change that to 100 angle as well. Or you can just leave it as is. I want to change this color, Command or Control V to paste that. Just subtle difference. And then finally down here to the sport layer, double click, Gradient Overlay, change that, paste it. And I almost forgot to change my angle on this. I'm going to make this 100 as well. So there we are with the top text. That's really about everything. Here, let's play with this bottom text a little bit. So I'm just going to grab my text tool, go down here. I'm just going to say first, last. All right. Now, this is... You can change the position if you want, if it's like a travel team, or in here you can put, let's see, senior. You can have the year there if you want, or you can turn that off, or if you open up the name bar, you can turn this little accent on the bottom off, so you just have a single bar. So you can turn that, or you can turn all of them on and off if you don't want one at all. And you can turn this starburst off too. You can kind of reposition that wherever you want. But I like it on there. So I'm going to turn it back on. And the year, name bar, and that little bottom accent. Another thing about the actual text, if you look at it, it's all in a folder. And I have it set to a soft light. So it just kind of blends in with the background colors. And then, let's see, your color overlay is at an opacity of 50. Now, if you crank that up, it'll just be white. But I wanted that to kind of bleed through a little, the background color, so I just changed it down to 50. Now, if you don't like that at all, you can just change the blending mode from soft light to normal on the main text folder. But we'll keep it there. All right, and then finally, I'll go up here and I will get rid of that logo. And that is really it. We're going to keep this as is. And that's really it for that one. Now, let me show you how I do the teams, and the memory made on this one is different than my other templates. I wanted to kind of change how I do things. So obviously with teams, well, not obviously because I've had a lot of questions, but these are just all individual photos that I've just drug in and kind of assembled. I'm not going to do a whole team for you real quick, but I will show you kind of how I do it. So I just open up the subjects folder and just grab a, let's grab 3 of these girls. Just drag them in. How I like to do it is I'll find a visual to line them up on. Let's say that bottom bar. Sometimes I will, here I'll show you another way I do it here in a minute. And I'm not changing their size yet, because I photograph them all on a tripod so their sizes are accurate, their height and everything. I say that, but this girl looks pretty tall. So let's go in there and and I will go in here and slightly. Sometimes they're maybe 6 inches in front or behind their mark, and that will kind of throw it off a bit. So just use some common sense, I guess. But another thing I'll do, here, let me get rid of these, is I'll do Command or Control R, and that'll put up this ruler that you're seeing around. And I'll just drag from the ruler down. It'll give me like a marker. So another thing you can do is that. Let's drag it down a little bit more. And drag these girls in one more time. And I'll just set them here and here. And I'm clicking the little check mark, or you can just hit enter. But I will shrink her down some. About right there. And I'm going to change her size just slightly too. So this is, I mean, really how I'll just build my teams out like this. So I'll just drag as many people in as possible that makes sense. Whoops, sorry. I'm clicking them, but it's still grabbing mine. Here, I want to turn that color grade off for now. And then I can drag her behind this person, stuff like that. Whoops. Here, let's click. I'm just clicking each layer, Command or Control T. I am slightly gonna, just for the tutorial, I'm just showing you how I do it. All right, now I'll click the top subject, hold Shift, and click the last one. Now I'll do Command or Control T again. I'll just kind of make them, imagine I have like 12 of them here. We're gonna fit them in here. And as you see, the mask for the subject folder is kind of hiding their feet. So you can kind of do that however you want. But yeah, this is how I'd build out a full team. Now, with that said, I want to keep it there. Say I build out the whole team like this, and I'm happy with it. For my memory mate in the past, I would just save this whole image, this whole 8x10 image, and that's what you would drag in over here. But on this one, I kind of changed it a little. So if you click that, open up the team cutouts folder within the team image folder, you'll see that's where I have them. So now what you would do is just copy just the subjects only from this team image. Let's turn them back on. Copy, Command or Control C is what I'm doing, sorry. Then I'll go back in here, and within the team cutouts folder, I'll paste them. and then obviously you're gonna just come in here and resize them. So that's how I'm doing the memory mates on this. I feel like it's actually a little easier. Hopefully once you get the hang of how to do your team composites, you'll feel the same. You can also come in here and just do seniors only if you want. I've learned that's usually a good upsell. I'll do a composite with a full team, and then for the seniors I'll come in and do like a seniors only memory mate as well as a team shot. So anyway, that's how I do the team, the memory mates, and the individual images on these. So I hope you enjoy this. If you have any questions, please feel free to contact me and I'll do my best to help you out. Thank you.